In today's video, I'm going to show you how to properly set up your Etsy shop. From naming your shop and branding, to putting up your first listing and promoting it. All that and more coming up. So the first thing that you're going to do when you set up your Etsy shop is you actually have to have a buyer's Etsy account. It's free to set up an Etsy account, so I'll show you how to do that and then we can get into actually how to set up your Etsy shop. So you just want to go up into the corner, click sign in, and sign in with your email address. You can do Facebook, Google, whatever it is, just sign in to and create your Etsy account. It's really simple. And then you can go up into the corner and click on You. So this is where your profile is going to be for your buyer's account. You want to go down to the bottom and you'll see something that says Sell on Etsy. Mine doesn't say that because I've already set up a shop for this account here, but you'll click on that and then it'll take you to this screen here. So first you're going to fill in your shop language, country, currency, all that different stuff, and then you're going to go down to the which best describes you. This doesn't actually affect your shop, it just lets Etsy know what you're going to be doing with your shop. So I have clicked on I sell part-time but hope to sell full-time. You can click on whichever one best represents what you're going to do with your Etsy shop. Then you can go ahead and save and continue. And this is where you're actually going to name your shop. In case you didn't know, to set up your Etsy shop, you're going to need two specific things before you even start. You're going to need a name and you're going to need one product to sell. So if you're watching this and you haven't figured out what your first product is, make sure you go ahead and figure that out, including what your shop name is going to be, because you cannot fully set up your Etsy shop unless you have these two things. Now, it's important to understand that your Etsy shop name, while it is important, you don't want to wait for the perfect Etsy shop name to open your shop. But if you're struggling, here's a couple things that you can do. You can add keywords or something that you're selling in your shop as your name. So one of the easiest things that you can do is just your name and whatever product it is you're selling. So Kate Paints or Crafty Kara, or you could do your name and designs. If you have a blog and you're opening up your Etsy based off of that, like I did, you can just name your Etsy shop whatever it is that your blog name is, so that you can have cohesive branding throughout all different types of platforms. And the thing to remember is no two Etsy shops are allowed to have the same name. So when you go to name your shop, you have to check the availability of your name to make sure that you don't have the same name as somebody else. So I found that Sarah by Crafting is not taken, but earlier I tried Sarah Paints, and when I checked the availability, I realized that this name was already taken. So as you can see that this strategy of your name and whatever it is you sell is used a lot. The good thing about Etsy though is they will give you other options in case you're stuck on what other names that you can do. So you can see that here. So that's where I came up with Sarah by Crafts. So we're gonna go with that one because I know it's available. So now I can go down to save and continue. Now this is where you are going to add your first listing. So I'm going to click on add listing. As you can see at the top though, Etsy recommends that you start with 10. You do not need to start with 10 listings. You only need to start with one. You don't want to overwhelm yourself in the beginning by trying to come up with a ton of different products and getting them all set up when you're not even sure how to set up your first listing. So I recommend in the beginning you come up with 3 to 4 ideas for what you would eventually like to list. Take one of them and run with it. Just create one listing because that is all that you need to actually set up your shop. When I first started Business Women Thrive Etsy, I had one listing up, and because I did the market research correctly, I made a sale within a few hours of opening my shop with only one product. So you can be successful on Etsy in the beginning with only one product. So keep that in mind as you're going along here. Now as you can see, this is where you're going to add the new listing, and because this is just a fake shop that I've set up for this example, I don't actually have a listing that I'm going to put here. I will fill this in with some random information so that we can get on to the next step, but let's go over to my Business Women Thrive Etsy so I can show you what it looks like with all of these things filled out. So as you can see here, this is my Pinterest pin Canva templates for my Business Women Thrive Etsy shop, and this is what it would look like all filled out. In the next video that I do, I'm going to be going over in depth about Etsy SEO and how to fill out this listing. So for now, I'm just going to go over the brief things that you're going to need to know, but make sure to check out my next video that is going to be going more in depth on this about SEO, how to fill out your shop listing to actually get sales, and how to rank your Etsy listings in search. So the first thing that you need to add is photos. I create all of my photos using Canva, and I have the Pro version, which if you're using Canva frequently, I highly recommend checking out the Canva Pro version. If you're interested in learning about that, I'll leave a link down below in the description. Honestly, a time saver to have the Pro version. But that's where I have created all of these listings. You can obviously use Canva for free. And the next thing that they have here is a video. You can actually create videos to show off your products, and I have done that with mine here. So you can see right here, I am showing how you fill out these templates correctly. You can only have 15-second videos. I think this is a great feature to have for buyers to see your product a little bit better. This is obviously optional, but it is something that I think you should test out. So the next thing that you can do is the listing details. You can just basically put in a title, talk about who did the listing, if it's a finished product or if it's supplies to make a thing, and when you made it, put it in a category. There's some optional things here: primary color, secondary color, what occasion it's for. You can do if it's a holiday product. And then you have the renewal options. So it costs 20 cents to post a listing on Etsy. And honestly, if you just sell your listing one time, that will pay for itself. So I think it's pretty cheap to put in a listing on Etsy, and you have to renew your listing every 4 months. So every 4 months, you're going to be charged 20 cents for your listing. And you can either do this manually so that you will have to come in and pay for the 20 cents, or you can do it automatically. I have mine set up for automatically, which is recommended, obviously, because if you somehow forget to process your listing, it will be taken down from your Etsy shop. It won't be deleted. You can still have it in the back end, but it will be considered an inactive listing and nobody will be able to buy it. Then you have to say if your product is physical or digital. So let's say my product is physical. If I click on physical, you're going to see something different than when you look at digital. So for example, down at the bottom, you're going to see a shipping area, and you're going to have to put in the item weight, the size of it when it's packed, and then you can preview the shipping price. And you want to factor that into the cost of your product. But if you have it on digital, of course, that is going to be different, and you're going to have a digital file section, and that's where you would download whatever the file is that the customer is going to be getting. So then you want to put in the description, and you really want to fill out your descriptions, because your descriptions are going to be what people are reading to buy your product. So you want to have a ton of different information in there. I'll be going over this more in depth in the next video, but for now you can just see that there is a lot that I have put in my descriptions. You can add a product partner, which if you are a solopreneur, you don't have to worry about that, I don't think. And then there's some other things that you can add in here. Tags, which is where you would like to show up in the Etsy search, and you can add in the materials that you used. If you're shipping a physical product, this may be more useful for you, but for me, I've just put in Canva and a digital product because those are the ingredients that I've used to create this product. If you were doing something like painting, you could put acrylic paint, you could put canvas, things like that. Then this is where you would put in the inventory and the pricing. So this is what you have to do with your price, and they give you a little reminder to factor in the cost of materials, labor, and business expenses, to put in your price, and then you can put in your quantity. So if you have a physical product and you only have a limited amount of that product, you're going to put that. But since mine is a digital product, I just put the most that you're allowed to put, which is 999. So right now mine says 998 because I've already sold one of these. But if you have a physical product, you obviously want to put in your quantity. And I think there also is an option for a made to order, like if you are doing a baby blanket or something, or you're doing a necklace and it's going to have their name on it and it's going to be personalized, you can actually put a made to order option up at the top. And then I'm pretty sure the quantity would probably go away based off of that. And then there's the SKU. This is optional. This is just for you to know in the back end of your site what it's called. So I just put Pinterest pin templates because that's what they are. And then this is where you can have the personalized option. So if you're doing, like I said, a necklace with somebody's name, or you're doing some sort of personal thing, you can turn this on, and you can have them put in instructions for what information you need them to give you so that you can do that personalized product. or personalization is optional so that they don't have to personalize it if you don't want to. There's a lot of options on Etsy for how you can make sure this listing will fit your business perfectly. And then this is the digital files option, like I mentioned. So this is where you can add in your digital files if you're doing a digital project, and this will say physical options if you're doing a physical product. You can also add a note for your buyers. So if you click on that, you will see the info and appearance of your shop, and you can add a message for digital buyers. If you sell digital items, we include this message on the download page for digital orders. And you can also include a message to buyers on their receipt pages as well. So that's just something personal. You can just say something like, hey, thank you for shopping at my store, blah, 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 whatever. I hope you enjoy your product. If you have any questions, blah, blah, whatever. So let me go ahead and put in some random things for this listing so that we can move on to the next step. So once you've done that, you'll come to this screen where it says stock your shop, and it'll basically just show you what the listing looks like. You can just go to save and continue, and now you're going to put in how you want to get paid. You want to put in where your country is, you want to put in where you're going to get your funds, your bank account information, about you, your social security, your address, and things like that. And then once you're done with that, you're going to set up your billing, and you're going to set up how you're going to get billed for the listing. And the process is just going to be pretty much the exact same. And then after that, you will be able to actually open up your shop. I'm going to stop here because I don't want this to go through, obviously, because this is going to be a fake listing. But the next two steps are going to be pretty similar, so you can go ahead and do that yourself. So now that you've set up your Etsy shop, this is what it's going to look like when you get to your shop. So you can see all of the photos that you've added, if you've added videos, anything like that, and when you go down here, you will see the description that you have added. When you click to view your profile, this is going to be the profile that you set up as your buyer profile. You can just click on your picture over there, and this will take you to your actual shop. And you can see how many favorites your shop has, when you've been on Etsy, how many sales that you've had, admirers, and you can see all of your listings right here. And when you click on the listing, it'll obviously take you into the listing, and you can see more information about it. So that is the basics of setting up your shop. But there is so much more that goes into your shop on Etsy. And so now I want to talk a little bit about branding. As you can see, my 3 listings are very branded. If you've been to my shop before and you've seen one of these in the searches, there's a good chance that you would realize that it was mine, because I have a specific branding that I've set up for my shop. And because I have a blog, if you have a blog as well, you want to keep your branding the same across as many platforms as you can. If somebody has bought something from me before and I put up a new listing and it has similar branding to these, and they see me promote it on my Twitter account, then they might be more likely to buy it because they trust me, because they've bought something from me before. So that's why it's pretty important that you try and keep your branding similar. That ties in perfectly with our 4th point here, which is setting up social media accounts. If you don't have social media accounts set up for your business, you really want to do that, because you want to be promoting your listings on all platforms: Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, because people will not know that you have listings up when you first start out unless you are consistently promoting them. And like I said, if you use proper SEO strategies, you can get shown up in search, but you really want to be pushing as much traffic as you can to these listings so that you can drive as many sales as you possibly can. If you have a blog and you're planning on having your Etsy connected to your blog, you can just promote your Etsy on your blog social media accounts like I do. A good tip here is don't be afraid to promote your listings too much. I promote listings 2 times a day on Twitter. Now that may seem like a lot, but with as fast as the feed goes, you'd be surprised at how many people aren't actually going to see your listings. And for me, the reason I post 2 tweets a day for my listings is because I post 10 tweets to Twitter completely on autopilot. And I do this because I schedule all of my tweets and plan them out in a content calendar, and then I schedule them straight to Twitter for the entire month, the month before. If you want to get this content calendar, it is actually off of my Etsy shop. It's honestly a lifesaver when it comes to promoting my Etsy accounts and my blog and my YouTube. If you want to check out the next video in the series, where I talk about how to fill out your listing properly to make sales, Etsy SEO, and how to get your listings ranked in search, you can click or tap the screen right here and it'll take you to that video.